Okay, so the internet has gone absolutely crazy today, and I'm on Auntie School's page, but I want to show you something how they have Twitter lockout. What they've done, everybody, and I'll go down my account, but we're going to go back to Auntie School's account. They have just locked out everybody. People are sending me all night long everybody that they're doing it to. And out of my main account, they've locked me, which this I'm lucky I had more than one account. But anyways, with Annie's school, what they did is that he figured out that they used fake actors and showed their earplugs on a video, and they shut down his account for 2 weeks, and they gave him a fake strike. Now, the reason this is important is I want to protect everybody that's going to be in his situation. And I'm also going to invite Auntie School. If you want to do an interview, if you have input that you want to put, we can go, do it together. And I definitely want all of you to listen, because this is why it's important for you to go into lawsuit, and I'm going to explain it. I also want to show people where he went to Steam It now at DTube. And then there's the thing. And I'll click to it in 1 second when I'm done the video so that everybody can find him. The reason that you fight is because they're trying to create a fake social media resume for all of you, that you're a violator, this big bad person, and this they will keep with you. The reason you go into lawsuit now is, number one, they cannot do this to you. And number two, if you don't protect yourself, they're going to keep that fake narrative up, stick it on Google, and make it for you in jobs as almost like you're a predator. And they're trying to break every good person that there is. And here you are, this innocent young man that just figured out the Q crumbs. And if you ever needed to know that you're right on point, it's now that they're trying to take your narrative down, because you're figuring it out all alone, just from your IQ, which I told you, and from being able to find things on Twitter and everywhere else, and just your own brain. They do not get to take down your integrity and your great resume of what you've done. So what you need to do is really get in touch with me and join a lawsuit, because they can't do this, and you need to erase the narrative. And what they're ultimately trying to do is give you 1, 2, 3 strikes, you're out. So they've made a fake one now. And you can end up being the poster child for, no, you can't do this. And they can't do this, everybody. The storm is upon us for sure, but we're not doing anything wrong. And so you get to post. And what they're trying to do is destroy any one of us. And I want your fake resume erased that YouTube gave you. And the only way to fight that is, first of all, to enter the lawsuit, and we can talk about it if you get in touch with me. And then you work on having that erased, not only from YouTube, but you have to make sure they don't put it from anywhere else. So it's very important that they know that you know me, because I'll bring it right to the federal court. And if they shut down you and they shut down me, and I go put a motion into court to have it reopened because they must, that then becomes the statute of law. And this is where they're pushing us to, both on Twitter and on YouTube and Google and wherever. And you can always leave. But when I was young, I got ripped off as a waitress at a job. They were trying to make me not stay, because when they ran short of staff, each particular waitress made more tips. So here's my example. They ran breakfast with 4 waitresses, but they needed 5. So they finally found me, and they made me number 5. And then all the customers got better service, but each of the waitresses got less tables, because you split the exact same amount of customers in between 5 people instead of 4. So what they tried to do was bully me, and they did. And I was so miserable, and you know me, well, you don't know me, but I'm so happy. And when I see people for breakfast, I like to laugh and have fun and whatever. And they were so threatened that they tried to mentally torment me. What I never did was go back and fix it. I quit. and I went somewhere else where it wasn't so hostile. It took me years and years and years to understand their method was to make everybody so miserable in that fifth position that they never stayed. And the manager of the hotel asked me to come in for a meeting with him and explain how could I be leaving so fast when the customers were raving about me. And I was too scared to meet him. And I just didn't want to stay miserable, so I left. I live with that regret for all my life because that became my resume of leaving instead of fighting it through and fixing it. And you know what happened? They got their way. And it was years later I ran into one of them who apologized to me and said, you know why we did that to you, didn't we? Didn't you? And I went, no, I have no idea. And she said, because you were cutting out our tips. And we always ran it one short so that we made more money. And I have to live with what I did to you, and I'm sorry. And I'm glad I got to see you because it always bothered me because you were so nice. And it bothered me to bully you. And I just went, oh my God, I never, ever, even ever would have known. But that's how greed and sickness work. So in that same note, this is what these sites are doing. They're trying to make you have a bad resume if you leave, and leave that mark, everybody. Leave the Twitter violations, leave the YouTube violations. You need to fight it through to get it off your resume because you're younger than I am. And what they'll do, because everybody searches social media now, if you want to get a job, if you want to get hired somewhere, they're going to leave this on you. And they're going to jade it and taint it a different way and say you were a copywriter and violated this and you were harassing and you were that, when you were telling the truth and you were right on the mark. And I don't want anybody to have to carry the resume that they're trying to make about me. And what they've tried to do with me is fake my whole identity in life. And I've just stood there and fought them because of my wisdom, because of that experience, and because I'm correct. And I'm not hiding from anything. So I could have bailed off of Twitter, off of YouTube, and gone on to all these other sites. But my narrative and the audience that found me needed me there, and I stayed, and I'm still stayed in fighting. So what we can do to correct it is get you compensation, get them to stop, and erase it from your record. And then you're free to go wherever you'd like. And also, everybody, they're doing what that waitress thing was to try to bully you off so that this is just all liberals on here. And then this agenda is what they pass to the public because nobody can find us because we're gone, because they erased us, because we had a Twitter lockout, you name it. So Isaac Green and anyone else that's been shut down has more than $75,000 worth of damages and can join a federal lawsuit. And I would be more than happy to help sign up anybody, put you in there, get you an award, and get them to stop bothering you and to delete that crap off your account. So it's very important. We can all start over, but ultimately, just let's go flash forward. So then we go to Steemit. Then the deep state buys out Steemit. Then they buy out BitChute. Then they buy out whatever. Then they buy out Gab. We're not going to end it until we end them. And so the right thing to do is fight them through law and order. I already have a federal lawsuit in there. Anyone can sign with me, limited power of attorney, which means I can do all your paperwork. I don't get a dime. I just make the legal decisions in this matter so that you don't personally have to appear if you don't live in the same state. And it's really easy for you to do that. And I have the legal knowledge to do that. You can talk to one of the other people that I have done that with. And that just takes the burden off you to not to have to appear, and also not to have to give any of your award to attorneys. I don't get a dime. I don't charge a penny. I do this, and I've always done this out of my heart. And so you should do it to clean your name and anybody else that got that shut down. And we need to lawfully and procedurally take on them. And you don't deserve to have a single thing on your resume except the fact that you are a hero. And this applies to anybody that they're trying to bring down in this way. But here's the good news about stupidity and what they've done with this. Let me get back over here with a Twitter lockout. Okay, and see how I keep getting notifications? This is happening nonstop on my smallest account, because what they're doing is they're alerting me to every single person that's getting shut down and locked out. But there's no such thing as a Twitter lockout. This is a crime. This is discrimination, harassment, abuse of power, whatever. You cannot have it weaponized. So the fact that they did this just makes my case and everyone else's case even stronger. And the thing, and the petition that I have, I'll go to that. I haven't looked at it. I saw it when it had about 5 signatures. I would imagine a few more people signed it by now, because I put it out to people. And petitions, believe it or not, they're a little bit hard to get everybody to sign, but everybody's awake. And so I would imagine that they're being very happy to sign this, because everybody's, oh, there you go, 29 supporters. And that's amazing for one night, because like I said, when I started these older ones, it took me so long to get signatures, because people weren't used to signing things, and we didn't understand the jeopardy of our freedom and the power of the rights that we have to file petitions and get them done. And if you notice, I've signed, let me log in because it doesn't say, I have signed 38 on here and 5, and then on those those whitehouse.org, I think like 50. But it doesn't matter how many that you sign, you need to protect yourself and sign them. And so the thing is, everybody, we have to fight them instead of just walk away. Because when you walk away, you end up looking back at it later in your life and going, I should have stayed and fixed that. They were ripping me off, cheating, lying, doing whatever to me, and I didn't deserve it. And all of these people that are so special, that built themselves up during the Q group that we have and had, and you can see we're still right over it without the Q being up right now. But every single person is bonded together because we built that, like I said, and we have a right to continue, and they do not get to take anybody down that made a lawful video that's free speech and just has their point of view. The reason they're taking it down is because, as I said the other night in my video, he's got way more subscribers and way more people, and they don't want to change the false narrative. And so they were using actors, I'm sure, and they've done that in a whole bunch of things, and he is smart enough to figure it out. And they do not get to destroy truth. So the most important thing that we get to do is unite. And again, if any of these Q people want to end up doing interviews together or going over news together, I'm like the type, if you want to talk, I'll just stay on the other side and listen to what you're teaching, because everybody has a different point of view, and we did build something, and it's really important for us to continue. And they cannot, if they destroy either channel, I will end up going to court and getting them reopened on an emergency motion. And I'm going to send this to YouTube and to everybody. And if that's the way they want to play, we will go play with the Constitution inside of a federal court. Because ultimately, whether I rush there now or not, that is what they're going to have to adhere to. And people think that you have a private company and you can own and do what you want. That is a democratic lie. That is a false narrative. You cannot discriminate. You cannot harass. You cannot make one set of rules for somebody else and a different set for somebody else. And all of these are not only in the Bill of Rights and the Constitution, they fall under employment. And even though we own our channels and they only make money from us on YouTube, they end up having to treat every single channel the same without discrimination. And no company can operate with a bias against somebody else. And so everything they're doing is civil and criminal. And I have all the statutes and the laws, and I put that in the lawsuit. And anybody can get in touch with me, and we can take it from there. Okay? Thank you.